The Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery has unveiled an innovative approach to portraiture. Its exhibition, entitled iPop, The Celebrity Gaze, not only lines up depictions of celebrities, but also examines the process that brings a person front and center on the world stage. Take a look.
It's an exhibit of contemporary portraits that examines society's obsession with celebrity. Kim Sayed is one of the architects of the exhibition.
I'm the director of the National Portrait Gallery at the Smithsonian, and I want to welcome you to the opening of iPop, The Celebrity Gaze.
iPop also asks, who is in charge of the images we see?
I always think of this kind of this three-legged stool when we're talking about portraiture. The artist is looking at the celebrity. The celebrity is trying to, in often cases, manipulate or to talk about or to control the image that is being made of them. And then the third part of that stool is us, the audience, and how we think about that person in that situation.
The exhibit is a study in how public personalities are produced. Featuring over 50 portraits from contemporary culture, including actors, athletes, and influential figures, you could call it a showcase of eye candy. Among the highlights, a Candyland-inspired Katy Perry, a rough and revealing look at cinema enigma Brad Pitt, and portraits of Latino Americans who have made an impact on the U.S., including Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, actress Eva Longoria, and actor and comedian John Leguizamo.
These Latinos are all from different cultural backgrounds. Longoria is of Mexican-American Texan background. She's a self-described Texican. Actually, Justice Sotomayor is of Puerto Rican background, born in the Bronx. She calls herself a New Yorican. And John Leguizamo was born in Colombia and has lived in the U.S. since he was a child.
iPop also introduces us to artists presenting portraiture in a new way. Luc Dubois is one of them, using special video software to construct his work.
And that's, again, and put a different one in, but I'm actually searching for that person rather than the string.
This is a portrait of Sergey Brin and Larry Page, the two gentlemen who founded Google. I have a whole bunch of YouTube interviews of Sergey Brin and Larry Page, and I'm Googling everything they're saying while they say it. So what you're seeing on the screens is their interview footage burned in with Google image results based on what they're talking about, and Google text results based on what they're talking about. So, you look at Sergey Brin and Larry Page, but really what I'm trying to do is get you to walk away thinking about what does it mean to search for something and have the trust a computer to give you the answer.
Another of Luc's creations, a video portrait of pop princess Britney Spears.
I had to download like 5,000 paparazzi photos of Britney Spears and train a computer on them. So I had to teach a computer what she looks like, and then I can pipe in any footage that she's in and it will find her and lock her eyes. If you look at it, the frame is panning around. She's always standing still. Britney Spears particularly has this really interesting role in our culture. She's the first pop star to come of age in the world of auto-tune and Photoshop. You very rarely see Britney Spears unless she's been computationally perfected in some way. There's this kind of tragedy there that I was trying to get at. There's something really heartbreaking about how she's constantly surveilled. We feel this like horrible need that we have to perfect this like beautiful, very talented woman even further with computers. I would identify that as a problem in our society.
Goering is another cutting-edge artist in the exhibit. During the opening night of IPOP, Bo set up a mini version of his signature milling machine to create portraits of the attendees. A former special effects artist, his innovative art came about by accident when he was commissioned to create a new building facade.
Totally serendipity. I mean, it literally popped out of the woodwork, and I tested it and it worked. And the only way to manufacture it, as it turned out, was to buy my own milling machine. And so this is like a thing that's working volume is 5 feet wide by 12 feet long by 1.5 feet, and ordinarily it kind of goes and it mills foam that then goes off to the foundry and is cast.
With the milling machine and a 4K camera that is stronger than the human eye, he's invented a pioneering form of portraiture.
And I'm sitting here looking at this monstrous machine, and I don't know, I have a film background, and it just came to me in a second that you could do things that no camera ever did before. I began to see that music was just like an extension of clothing, and I saw this when I would ask people when they came in. They always say, well, you choose something, or you make a soundtrack. I say, no, you don't get it. This has to be the one favorite piece of music you have in the whole world. When I started doing these, HD video was the thing, and the cameras were only about $500, which is what I started with, and now I've gone to a 4K format Sony camera, which captures 4 times as much detail.
Goering relates his experience to American Civil War photographer Matthew Brady, who allowed many to see their photographed image for the first time.
I wanted to be a living personal document. When, in the very early days of portraiture, when Matthew Brady and people long before him traveled with a plate camera and took these amazing images. We live in a media world, but these things were magic. The very first glass plate portraits, and it's always been said that many primitive people who were photographed thought they were soul catchers. I'm going to make the same kind of telling, living, personal, intimate document. I'd like to channel the feeling that let us, not Matthew Brady, but going back into the early 1800s, and I don't remember the names, but when they first pulled those big glass plates out, and people who had never seen a photograph before saw that, if this does 10% of that, it's all I could ever want. Here it goes. Once I know the person's height and I know the music, everything is basically fixed. The take is as long as the music.
Pop artist Andy Warhol once said, "In the future, everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. Between the internet, artists like Bo Goering and Dubois, and the innovative portraiture at the National Portrait Gallery, Warhol just might one day be proven right."